that was brilliant by the duo Peters there, which was quite unexpected. So thanks very much, Pete. Brilliant, great research again. We've got John Doe, and he's going to talk about the new Bailiff tactics that they're producing now. So once again, big hand for John.
Thanks, fellas. Can I just check? Can you all hear me at the back? Is that better? I will shout a bit because I know this PA's not very loud and we've got quite a lot of racket going on next door. Okay, my name's John. I'll try and fit as much into the 20 minutes that I've got. What I'm trying to pioneer is a new tactic for dealing with bailiffs at the front line, either when they turn up at your property or before they come, through writing to you and then you phoning them up, or through them getting in contact with you in any other way, shape or form. And how it is we need to effectively make the shit stick to that bailiff as a man or woman, nothing to do with them being a bailiff or an employee or an acting agent for the courts, the council, whoever. I've got a YouTube channel which is DerbJD, D-E-R-B-J-D. I don't know why I called it that, but there it is. Got a couple of new videos on there from this week, and one of them I had a chat with Equita because they're chasing after me for a parking ticket through Birmingham City Council. And getting back to what Peter and Peter spoke about just now, there is no provision in this country for a bailiff to obtain a warrant of anything. There is no provision in this country for a bailiff to request audience with a magistrate or judge in order to obtain a warrant of anything at all. The council will write all of these warrants out themselves, as we already know. I mean, there's a lot of us in here that know this back to front, upside down and inside out. But for the benefit of the doubt, I'll cover a few basics. The process of a parking ticket or any other type of civil cases, the authority tries to push you into paying for it. So if we look at parking tickets, because that's a really straightforward one, and I've got one of those on the go at the moment. The council stick a ticket on your car, you ignore it or do what I did. I actually videoed myself handing it back to Birmingham Council saying thank you very much, no contract, there you go. A few weeks later they send out a letter, then they send out another letter, and you can ignore them and some of them might go through and sneakily get a county court judgment behind your back, which you can fight in another way. I'll come back to that in a moment. It's alright, bear with me, I'm running on caffeine and pure faith today because I got about 2 hours sleep last night, which is why I'm all rosy cheeked. So, getting back to the fact that bailiffs have never got authority, it's going to be a case of fighting that bailiff as a man and putting a warning to them which needs to kind of, we want to go for their consciences really rather than anything else, because if a bailiff turns up, they'll hide behind their corporation, they'll hide behind the business that they work for. I am an acting agent of so-and-so and I'm from the court so-and-so. Obviously they're not. So this is the scenario. A bailiff comes to my property, for example, with whatever type of warrant he's got. We know them as EX96 forms. That's all it is. It's not a real warrant. The reason is because in a civil case, magistrates and judges will never sign and seal a real warrant of execution or arrest or anything, because it's not criminal law. You'll never get a real warrant with a judge's signature with their full human being name written underneath it, because that means that if they did, that magistrate or judge is accepting liability in the matter. Should they be wrong, you can countersue or prosecute them under criminal law, because obviously it's fraud in the first place. Why is it fraud? Because none of you have ever signed a contract to the council to say, oh yes, I'll pay a parking ticket should I get one. Gladly. Nobody does that, so there is no contract. Everything's civil law. There must be a signed contract between the two parties, preferably in wet ink, but these days a lot of people do things through email or through PDFs. So, just have a quick drink because I'm rattling on somewhere rotten and I'm going to lose my voice. Coke straight in my eye there. I don't know whether you got that at the back. Okay, so the scenario, a bailiff turns up at the door. Hello, Mr. Bailiff. Let's see your paperwork then. Oh no, they won't show the paperwork. They keep the original, allegedly, back at the office. Of course they do. So you ask them, where's the court seal? If you're not aware, real warrants have got a waxy corner or a square area of the paper which is squeezed through a machine, and it will emboss the court logo seal onto the real warrant. Are you with me? Like an old MOT certificate, the garage would squeeze the paper through a machine and it would put the name and address of the garage on there to kind of authenticate it as a true document. That's what you have with a real court warrant under criminal law, never under civil. So that's the first thing missing, there's no seal. Then when it gets to the signature bit, you've got a scribble that you can't understand. Whose name is it? Nobody knows. Are they a real person? Probably not. Is it a PDF graphical signature, or is it done in wet ink? Usually the former. Underneath that, what it will say is Justice of the Peace. Who is Mr. or Mrs. Justice of the Peace? They do not exist. The reason they don't exist, and the reason no actual human being will put their name to a fraudulent document or warrant, is because that's putting them in accepting liability in the matter, so that of course they could be prosecuted back by you because they're acting fraudulently. So getting back to the bailiff on the doorstep, what I do, and I'm asking for opinions on this from people that know a lot about all these sorts of things as well, because I want to cover all tracks basically. I want to make sure that I'm not putting myself up for liability. But this is how it goes. Number one, the bailiff has got two options. Firstly, they disappear. They pass the matter back to whichever authoritative body gave it to them in the first place to act on, usually the councils or whoever. Let's have another swig of this pop again. So the bailiff disappears, they pass the matter back, enough done. Another bailiff, a different human being this time, might pop down and have another knock on the door, but you can give them the same two options. So that's option one. Take the matter back, pass it back to the authoritative body, and I don't want to deal with you, thank you Mr. Much third party interloper. Option number two. You stay on my doorstep and threaten me, harass me, try and push past me, try and levy goods rather than take my property, because obviously there's a bit of legalese in here. They always talk about goods, they never talk about property, because your property is your property. But they can levy goods to cover the invoice, sorry, or notice, or CPS, or whatever they call them. So you stay on my doorstep and you give me trouble, harass me, try and break in, go round the back, try and open the patio doors, whatever you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilise the resources of you guys. The people that we've got are, what, 25,000 members and growing now, I think? Between Response UK, Beat the Bailiffs and the Banks, GetOutOfDebtFree.org and all the other associations that bring us here today. I'm going to use the resources to my advantage, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out all about you, Mr. Bailiff. I'm going to find out who you are, where you live, your family members, the car you drive, the job you do, the people you work for, everything. Your days as a bailiff are numbered, my friend, because we are shutting you all down, as you can see. So when I've got this information on you, and it only took us a few days to find out who Cliff Hales was, come all the way from Prestatyn down to try and take Tom's house off him, got them all stuck down in the corner of the cul-de-sac, shitting themselves in two cars, got a sweat on, one of them picking his nose and eating it on video. That was me that videoed that, sorry if you're eating your dinner. Oh, it was brilliant. Oh, what a day, Tom, thanks for that, mate. That was brilliant. I know the circumstances are rotten for you and everything, but what a day. Anyway, so we find out everything about these bailiffs. Then what we do, it's only a matter of time until they get laid off, because bailiffs aren't going to be able to exist very long after we finish with them. Give them a couple of years at most, probably less than that because the election's coming up, so there'll probably be some sort of civil unrest and everything. Just a minute. So we find out everything about Mr. Bailiff. What we do then is we broadcast and tell everybody, their friends, their family, using only the video and audio evidence that we've collated, so that we're covering our own arses against defamation of character and slander. We use the video footage, we broadcast it to every single future employer that bailiff as a man goes to when he's finished being a bailiff, works in an office, shop, any occupation whatsoever. We get in touch with that boss, we tell them, you've got a crook working for you and we don't appreciate that. We give them a strong recommendation that they sack or terminate the employment of that bailiff, and we show them the video footage evidence in the public domain by emailing them the YouTube footage. Simple as that. It's in the public domain. Then what we do is we make this strong suggestion that they terminate employment with them, and if they don't, we could give them an or else clause. Or else we will protest against your company until you do. This business here, I don't know, paper shop up the road for example, this business here is harbouring a criminal, and here's all the evidence of what they've been doing. Bullying people, stealing from people, taking people's possessions, leaving people in the middle of town centres with cars with clamps on, cars being taken away, 700-800 quid upwards just to get their car back when it was a 60 quid ticket. I don't think so. So we boycott those new employers of Mr. or Mrs. ex-bailiff until they get sacked. And we build a database that automatically keeps updating with when we find out who these bailiffs are as men and women, where they live and work, national insurance, deed poll, national insurance, deed poll, DVLA records, birth certificate records, and electoral roll. We can get all that data about them. Simple as that. Take us a few days to find out the information. That ex-bailiff, or bailiffs, as we like to say, because we're going to get them all, they then end up jobless, broke, out of work, ruined reputation, ruined families, because they can't afford to keep the house, they can't afford to keep the kids in school and clothes, and they can't afford to run the car, just like what they're doing to people like us. You know, they end up shit's creek. And then eventually what we'll do is we'll tell Mr. or Mrs. ex-bailiff, as a human being, we promise to stop boycotting your future employment on the proviso that you go on video camera, make a formal apology for your actions as a bailiff, stating the date from and to that you were a bailiff, give examples of people that you picked on or don't, or just refer to the video footage, because we'll get the tape of their apology and we'll edit it all in to show that footage so that we'll be able to back it up with the claim. That ex-bailiff then apologises on camera. We use that as a good example of what's to come for all the other bailiffs that turn up and start harassing people, because we'll collate their information and it'll be their turn next. Okay? When we've got their apology, we can write to them to the effect that we promise, and we do it by affidavit or whatever type of document they require, we promise not to prosecute you for admitting that you've been causing fraudulent harassment and all the rest of it, because we've got your apology on video and we're going to broadcast that, because that is humiliation and that shit sticks. And what will happen from that point onwards is they can go off and change their name by deed poll and then go and find a job, and they can be a good citizen. They can pay back into the community, they can realise what they've been doing wrong in bullying, harassing, stealing, all the rest of it from people, and they've been marked off the list. But for all those bailiffs that don't want to apologise, we could freely keep our database going. Oh look, Mr. ex-bailiff Smith, Johnson, whoever, he's moved from Liverpool, he lives in Hull now. Oh great, does he? Right, okay, well what we'll do then is we'll have a look and see where he turns up as employment in Hull, because we can get the national insurance records from HMRC and all over the place, because we've got people with access to all that. So then we find out their employer, and then we send them an email with the YouTube links, and off we go again. Mr. Bailiff that's moved from Liverpool to Hull, for example, trying to hide from his past. Oh no. I'm afraid the internet's everywhere, guys. You're not going to hide from us. How many video cameras have we got in this room already? How many people are there here? About 60? So that's 60 mobile phones, plus a few video cameras that are running as well. We will always have video footage of everything. Never be afraid of bailiffs. Do not open your door to them if you're not strong enough or hard enough or what have you to actually confront them and deal with them and stop them from pushing past you. Do film everything, and I mean everything. Know your technology is something that I put up on the groups a few weeks ago. It's no good with an iPhone that's got about ½ gigabytes worth of memory left because you've got all your favourite tunes on there as MP3s and family photos, running out of memory or running out of battery. Empty the memory, keep the lens clean, know where the apps are in a hurry if you need them, record everything. Terminate the conversation if your battery dies. Go back in the house and lock the door. Or if you're inside with a little window open because you don't want to go out there in case they barge past you, which is against the rules anyway, terminate the conversation until you've gone and got a new camera, battery, tape, whatever, but film everything, make them accountable for everything, because going back to the first thing that I just mentioned, that is the evidence that we require in order to continuously prosecute them as a man or woman after they've been laid off or sacked or they've quit being a bouncer. How does that sound for shit sticking? Do we agree? Because I don't know about you guys, but frankly I've had enough. I'm waiting for Equita to turn up on a parking ticket for Birmingham, and I'm not going to pay them a single penny, as you can probably tell. And I've had this phone call with conversation with them the other day, and it's on my YouTube channel. I think it's called Phone Call to Equita, Conversation with Robbie, brackets Robber, you know. And I don't think that anybody's going to turn up, but if they do, I mean, it's going to be great because I'll film them and then we'll have a bit more fodder. Quite simple as that, really. See if there's anything else I need to know. Parking. There's a worry about you having your car towed away or clamped. You go into city centres, what have you got? You've got car parks run by NCP, you've got car parks that have got those barriers for height of vehicle restrictions that can be conveniently shoved out of the way with a lock. They just turn around, don't they? So they let vans and fire engines and all the rest of it through. You park your car in there, you come back, your car's gone, you call the police, they say, oh no Mr Smith, your car's not been stolen, your car has been taken away to £1 and now it's going to cost you £700 to get it back. Car park defence 101. Don't use a car park, use a multi-storey car park. Park your car up inside a multi-storey car park. If you can find an end of a row where there's a wall and then maybe where the ramp goes up to the next level, park it in a corner so that you can turn your steering wheel towards the wall. If you've got a front wheel drive automatic, unfortunately you've got to put it in park, so your front wheels are going to be locked as well, so it'll skid backwards rather than turn into the wall if they try and tow it out. But they won't be able to get in there to put anything underneath it. They won't be able to get their van up there in the first place. So there'll be no more car park theft of your car on the back of a tow truck waving it goodbye while you're down the Sunday market. None of that. Multi-storey car parks. Know how to park your car properly with the steering turned towards a wall. If you can make it so that if you've got like a back-wheel drive car or a manual gearbox car, your front wheels should stay disengaged, your handbrake will do your back wheels, and wherever they try to tow the car because they can't get to the front, because you parked it inwards frontly, it'll turn and it won't go up on the, what do you call it, the winch. So yeah, know your technology. Blank your tapes or memory cards. Tapes, Christ, I sound like, oh, back in the day, VHS. Blank your discs and your memory cards, charge your batteries up, clean your lenses. There's a couple of good apps you can get for the iPhones. One's called TSA, Tango Sierra Alpha. Little old-fashioned microphone logo. You press it, put a code in, you get a nice blank screen, you tap it once, you switch your phone off, you've now got an audio recorder that can't be stopped until you've gone through the original passcode to get into your phone. and the passcode to get into that app, so it's discreet. That's a great one for courtrooms, that one is, folks, because your phone's off. It's called TSA. Bambusa. Who's familiar with Bambusa? We've got a show of hands. Yeah? If you go to bambusa.com and then click on what's broadcasting live at certain times a day, if you click the UK link, 9 times out of 10, you'll find some fracking protests going on. Because frackers love Bambusa. What it is it's a live broadcasting app for audio and video. You have an account set up, you're all password protected, it all goes off to the cloud, and as soon as you hit record on your iPhone, it's recording to the memory of the iPhone under password, but it's also broadcasting the whole lot off to the cloud account and broadcasting live onto Bambusa if you so wish. So there'll be no snatching of your phone, there'll be no snatching it, confiscating it, trying to tread on it, crush it, stick it in water, none of that, because up to the point where the phone battery dies, or up to the point where they smash it or chuck it in a river, everything is recorded. Bambusa, B-A-M-B-U-S-E-R, and it's free. You only pay for Bambusa if you're a corporation, and you've got 24-hour video surveillance running through it because you're a boss that wants to go on holiday but you can't leave the office because you don't trust your staff. Oh no, I'll stick an iPhone up in a cupboard with a glass door and then I'll log on to Bambusa while I'm in Tenerife, see whether they're working or not. That's the bad side of it. The good side of it is that we can use it for backup. It's great if you get stopped by the police and you do the under what law officer with your doors locked and your window down an inch, so they smash the window and drag you out of the car. Doesn't matter, because if you put that app on, I don't know whether it works properly on an iPhone, but on other like Samsung Galaxies and all the rest of those formats, if you have Bambusa app, I think you can switch the phone screen off so that it doesn't appear to be doing anything. So Mr. Policeman puts your phone in his pocket or sticks it in the car in an evidence bag if they ever bother to do that these days, and it's recording everything. And it's broadcasting it, so it doesn't matter if you don't get your phone back straight away, because you could just go off and do it. Log on to Bambusa, get the evidence that you want, and you bang them to rights. Any questions? Yes? Sorry? On Bambusa, in any instance, it's best if you can free up as much memory on the chip inside the phone as you can. If you can get 16, 32 or 64 gig smartphone, you're winning. You don't have to have it on 1080p, 720p is plenty. 640 by 480, low quality is even better. Doesn't show everything, not very good for screens of text and whatnot, but you get more video and bang for your buck, so you'll be able to record longer. But with Bambusa, it will broadcast it and save it live, and even if you don't manage to stop the tape or stop the recording, as soon as it senses that your recording's not feeding through, it'll automatically truncate the end of the file and then name it as 001 or 002 or whatever, so that it's ready to go. Has that answered that question?
Is it using your mobile data to put it on the cloud?
Yeah, it will use your data allowance to upload to Bambusa. So if you're on a pay-as-you-go smartphone, make sure that you've got plenty of credits. If you're on a contract smartphone, check your contract and see how much free data transfer you've got, because upload they count as the same as download these days. So if you're on a 4 gig a month package, then Bambusa will be uploading and using your data capacity for the month. Which is another good reason why, if you don't need to use 1080p or 720p high resolution, just use 640, 480 and you'll get more recording time if you record into the chip inside the phone, and you'll be able to record for longer without having a massive bill from your phone company. Any more questions? Does anybody disagree with the shit stick philosophy? No. Are we all for the shit stick philosophy? Because we're free as human beings to protest with free speech, and if we want to protest a business like the shop down the road because Mr. Bailiff's gone and got a job behind the till there now, and we want him sacking because we've got hard evidence, there's no slander and there's no defamation of character, there's only fact. Anybody else got any questions they want before I sort of wrap up? Hang on a second, I'll come round because it's awfully loud at, sorry matey, it's awfully loud at the top there. Hang on. What do you do with 2,000 photos on the memory of your phone? If it's an iPhone, link it to iTunes and back everything up to your computer, burn a DVD, and then you've got them keep safe. If it's another type of phone, you might just be able to plug it into your computer and then drag and drop them off as though it's any old memory card or hard drive. iPhones are a bit particular. You have to go through iTunes if you want to offload them all sometimes. But as soon as you connect your phone to your computer, you should get an icon pop up in the usual place where hard disk icons are. Double click it. Click in and see if you can find the folders. If you don't know where you're looking, if you've got a smartphone with lots and lots of folders of gibberish, just type in, open a window, or if you're on Windows, say, Windows E will open up your Windows Explorer, which is the same as double-clicking My Computer, C drive, DVD drive, and all the other icons. iPhone will be in there, double-click it, you'll get a load of folders probably. To do a shortcut to find all your videos or all your photos, go to the find box or search box on that window and just type in JPG for JPEG, and then it'll through the phone and it'll just give you every single JPEG, regardless of what folder it's in on the phone. And if you want to find all your video files on an iPhone, type in MOV, because they're MOV format, movie format. And then if it's a Samsung Galaxy or something like that that's running Android, it might do your video files as AVIs, AVI, or MPEG-4 or something. Sift through the files. Whatever a normal video file is, like MAV, AVI, whatever, you can shortcut it by double-clicking your phone icon, search for the file extension JPG, MOV, AVI, whatever, and then you can just get them all, select all, copy, go to the hard drive on the computer, paste, make sure that you've got everything that's precious to you, and then wipe the memory on the phone. I've got 2 minutes left before I finish. Any more questions, anyone? Right, I think I'll wrap up there then. Oh, hang on. Shout it, please. So that again, sorry. Make light I'm a born comedian. I don't think I'm a born comedian. Yeah. Oh, check out my YouTube channel, it's wicked. You have to be as nonchalant as possible, no emotion whatsoever. Let them get heads up. Right, I think my time's up then, folks. Thank you very much.
That was absolutely brilliant. At the end of the talk there, it was a strange language. I mean, I've still got I'm still trying to get the typics off my screen on the computer because I don't know what he's talking about. Right.
Debt Free TV, in association with GetOutOfDebtFree.org.